Hello there and welcome to A-Level Further Maths. Here we're looking at differentiating hyperbolic functions so we can answer questions from exercise 10D. So the basic 6 that we need to know how to integrate are sine, cosh, tanh, sech, cosech and coth. Let's just go through each of those ones individually. So we'll start off with y equals sine. So how will we differentiate this? Well, I suppose the first place to start is with its definition. So we'll recall its exponential definition, e to the x minus e to the minus x over 2. Let's just rewrite that in a slightly more differentiable form. So we'll split it up into two separate terms, each with a half on them, half e to the x minus half e to the minus x. And now this is just an exponential that we all know how to differentiate. So differentiate this, and it's going to be dy by dx equals e to the x differentiated is just e to the x, and then when it's e to the minus x, that minus will move to the front and it'll be plus half e to the minus x. Let's just put this back together and we've got cosh. Lovely. So dy by dx of sine is cosh. Let's do the same thing for cosh, and it works in a very similar way. Write the exponential form, split it up into more differentiable parts, then differentiate it using the laws of exponentials and differentiating them, and we get back to sine again. So actually it's much easier to differentiate in hyperbolics because you never have any negatives to worry about. It's just sine to cosh and cosh to sine. What about tanh then? How are we going to do that? Well, instead of writing out in its exponential definition, let's write it out in its identity, which is sine over cosh. And then for differentiation, we can just apply the quotient rule for this. So applying the quotient rule, you differentiate the top first, leave the bottom alone, and then subtract the bottom differentiated times the top. So it's going to be cosh times cosh minus sine times sine, and then it's all divided by the denominator squared, so cosh squared. Let's tidy this up a little bit, and remember that cosh squared minus sine squared is equal to 1, so this whole top thing here will just simplify down to 1. And 1 over cosh is sech, so sech squared is the answer to tanh differentiated. Let's move on to sech and do this in a very similar way. We'll rewrite it as 1 over cosh and then apply the quotient rule. So this is going to be differentiate the top first, that would be 0 times the bottom minus the top times the bottom differentiated, and we get this. Let's just, so it's minus sine over cosh squared. Let's split it up into minus sine over cosh. That's one of the coshes, but we've got two coshes, so we'll have to multiply it by 1 over cosh. And we get minus tanh sech. So there we are. And this is different to normal trigonometric differentiation, because usually when you differentiate sec, you get tan sec. In this case, it's minus tanh sech. For cosech, it's going to be minus coth sech. So let's just see how that happens. Use the 1 over sine definition, then differentiate using the quotient rule, and then split it up, and you've got minus coth cosech. And for the last one, it's minus cosech squared, so it's very similar to before. Split it into cosh over sine, use the quotient rule, and then simplify things together. It's going to be sine squared minus cosh squared, so you'll have to completely flip around this identity, so it's a minus 1 now. So it's minus 1 over sine squared, which is minus cosech. So all of the inverse trigonometric functions differentiate to negative terms, and all of the standard ones, sine, cosh and tanh, differentiate to positive ones. So it's an easy set of rules to remember there. Let's just see how we can apply those to these sorts of questions here. Cosh 3x. So remember, this is going to be an application of the chain rule, where we differentiate the inside first and then the outside function second. So the inside function here is going to be 3x, so that differentiates to 3, and then the outside function is cosh, so that's going to differentiate to sine of the inside function. So the inside function stays inside, but it also differentiates to the outside as well. So it's 3 sine 3x there. This one's a bit of use of the product rule. We've got x squared multiplied by cosh 4x. So we differentiate it using the product rule. Differentiate x squared first, you get 2x, leave the second term alone. And then you differentiate the cosh 4x. So it's going to be 4 because we have to use the chain rule on this part here. So the 4 comes out to the front to make it 4x squared, then differentiate cosh, and that would be to shine, so it would be shine 4x. So just as we did before in A-level maths, you've still got to be able to apply the chain rule, the quotient rule, and the product rule to these different. Okay, let's have a look now at how we might differentiate the inverse hyperbolic trig terms. So let's start with y equals r sine x. So the way we differentiate this is very similar to what we've done in chapter 3 or 4 already with arc sine, arc cos, and arc tan. So it's going to be you shine both sides, because r shine is the inverse of shine. So if we shine both sides, that will get rid of the inverse of shine on the right, and you'll have to shine the left-hand side. Then we apply what's called implicit differentiation. If you've not seen implicit differentiation, it's in A-level maths, so go back and have a look at a previous video on implicit differentiation. So the way we differentiate implicitly is, in this case, it's going to have to be implicit differentiation because we're differentiating a y term. And the way you differentiate implicitly on a y term is you differentiate it normally, but then multiply by dy by dx, and then differentiate the x to 1. So it's just a simple bit of implicit differentiation there. Let's move the cosh y onto the other side by dividing by it. So the answer is dy by dx equals 1 over cosh y. But we don't generally like to have cosh y as our final answer. We like it in terms of x again. So let's just remember then that cosh squared y minus sine squared y is equal to 1. That's an identity that is always true. And then if we rearrange that a little bit, we get cosh y is identical to the square root of 1 plus sine squared y. And we know what sine is. We know that sine y is equal to x. So what I can then do is I can then replace the sine y with x, but remember it's sine squared y, so it's x squared. So what I can now do directly is replace cosh y in my final answer with the square root of 1 plus x squared. So the answer to this question is dy by dx equals 1 over 1 plus x squared. Let's do virtually exactly the same thing with the next two questions. So if we have y equals r cosh x, then we cosh both sides. Then we differentiate implicitly and we get sine y times dy by dx equals 1. Divide that sine y onto the other side and then do something very similar with the shine. We're trying to make shine the subject here, so it's going to be the square root of cosh squared y minus 1. We know that cosh is equal to x, so we replace cosh with x, and we get sine y is equal to the square root of x squared minus 1 this time. So replace the sine y with x squared minus 1 square rooted. So there we are, and the tanh one would be very similar, so we'll need to tanh both sides. Then we implicitly differentiate. That will be sech squared y, so dy by dx equals 1. Divide by that sech squared. Now we need to get sech squared back in terms of x. So we're going to somehow have to find a link between tanh squared and sech squared. So remember that we've got cosh squared y minus sine squared y equals 1. What we'll do with that is we'll divide everything by cosh squared y. Why am I doing that? Well, I want to create a tanh somewhere and a sech somewhere. So you can see that both of those will appear. So it's going to be 1 minus tanh squared y that will equal sech squared y. So we now know that sech squared y can be replaced with 1 minus tanh squared, and if tanh is x, then we can replace sech squared with 1 minus x squared. So the answer to this question is dy by dx equals 1 over 1 minus x squared. So these are the derivatives of the inverse hyperbolic functions, and you get those in the formula booklet. Let's now apply this. So it's going to be the next couple of questions are y equals x r cosh x. So this is going to be a case of using the product rule. So applying the product rule, we'll differentiate the first term, leave the second term alone. So that would just differentiate to 1, then it would be r cosh x. And then we'll leave this one alone and differentiate r cosh, which will be 1 over the square root of x squared minus 1. So the simplified answer for this is r cosh x plus x over root x squared minus 1. So a bit of the product rule there. And on to the second one, this will be the chain rule. So we differentiate the inside function first, which is 1 over the square root of x squared minus 1. And then we differentiate the outside function, which is squared. So it's something squared, so it's x squared is the term here, the outside function. So move the power to the front and then reduce the power by 1, so it'll be 2r cosh x. Simplify a little bit by moving the 2 onto the top, and you've got yourself a simplified answer. Okay, moving on to the final question that we'll go through in this video then. Find the Maclaurin series expansion for y equals r sine x up to and including the x cubed term. So remember, the way we do Maclaurin series expansion questions is we differentiate, put in 0, differentiate, put in 0, differentiate, put in 0. So let's go through that process. We'll put in 0 into the f function first, and r sine of 0 is 0. Differentiate it once and we've got that familiar term of 1 over the square root of 1 plus x squared. Then we'll substitute in 0 into the differential, and we'll get 1. Then we'll differentiate it again, but this is starting to get a little bit tricky this time, so we'll write it as an indice and then apply the chain rule. That means differentiate the inside first, so that will make it have 2x, and then you differentiate the outside function second, so the outside function is going to be x to the power of minus a half. It's the minus half that's the outside function. So we're going to that's an indice differential, so it's going to be times by a half inside the brackets and then reduce the power by 1 minus 3 over 2. The 2 and that half will cancel each other out, and then when we put in 0, we're going to get 0 because it's a 0 at the front here, and then it would be 1 plus 0 squared to the power of minus 3 over 2. It doesn't really matter what that is because we're multiplying by 0 at the front. The next thing we'll do again is differentiate once again, and that's going to be even trickier because we've got the product rule going on here, plus this really difficult differential on the right-hand expression. So we'll start by differentiating using the product rule. We differentiate the first term, leave the second term alone, and that would just give us this expression here. Then we're going to differentiate the second term and leave the first term alone. So it's going to be plus minus x, because we've left that term alone. Then it's going to be the differential of the inside, which is 2x, times by the differential of the outside function in terms of the inside function. That would be minus 3 over 2, move the power to the front, and subtract the power from 1 by 1. Simplify all of that together, and this complicated thing is what you get, because that 2 will cancel out with that 2, it will make it x squared, and then we've got this term at the back here. And we've got a double negative as well, which will cancel out to make it just a plus. If you then substitute 0 into this, then we're going to get minus 1 for the first term, and then nothing for the second term because it'll have an x squared in it, so we're going to get minus 1 here. Okay, so the final thing we need to do then is plug these coefficients that we've found here into the Maclaurin series expansion. So it's f of 0 goes first, so it's going to be 1x because, the f of 0 is 0, so we're not going to have anything there. Then we'll move on to the next term, which is 1. So it's going to be f dash of 0, which is 1, so 1 times x. The second term is 0, so that bit's not going to have anything there. Then the third derivative will be x cubed over 3 factorial. So it's going to be minus 1 over 3 factorial x cubed. And there we are, that's the answer to this question. So Maclaurin series question standard, pretty simple, isn't it? You just differentiate, put in 0, differentiate, put in 0. The differentiation is not that simple, but there we are. Now, just in case you're wondering what you do get in the formula booklet, you do get these expressions here. So you get some hyperbolic identities, you get a reminder of what the inverse hyperbolic functions are represented with Lund's, and then you get these differentials, so arc sine, arc cos, arc tan, a reminder of sine, cosh and tanch, and then r sine, r cosh and r tanch with the sine, cos and tan functions up here. Alright, so that's all we're going to go through in this video, but I've got time for you to have a go at this question here then. Find the tangent Find the equation of the tangent at the point where x equals 12 over 13 on the curve with the equation y equals r tangent. Pause the video, give this question a go. Okay, so let's get started on this question then. If we want to find a tangent, at some point we're going to need to know what the y value is. So the first thing we'll do then is we'll put x equals 12 over 13 into r tangent. So we're going to get y equals r tangent 12 over 13. Now what I do need a reminder of is what the r tangent identity is. It's a half ln 1 plus x over 1 minus x. So that's going to equal a half ln 1 plus 12 over 13 over 1 minus 12 over 13. So let's do that on the calculator then. In fractions, 1 minus 12 over 13. So 1 plus 12 over 13 on the top. And then it's going to be on the bottom 1 minus 12 over 13. That's going to give us 25. So it's going to be a half ln 25. And I could actually simplify this further. If I bring the half into the bracket, that will square root it. So that'll make it ln 5. Okay, so the next step is to differentiate it. So dy by dx equals 1 over 1 minus x squared. That is given to me in the formula booklet. If I go back and differentiate r tangent, then it's there. So the next thing I need to do then is work out the gradient. When I plug in 12 over 13, it's going to be 1 over 1 minus 12 over 13 squared. And let's do that on the calculator then. Let's do 12 over 13 squared. And then we'll do fraction button 1 over 1 minus answer, 169 over 25. So it's going to be y equals mx plus c, so it would be 169 over 25 times x plus c. So it's going to be ln 5 on the y side equals 169 over 25, and then it's going to be times by 12 over 13 because that's the x value, plus c. So that will cancel out one factor of 13 from the top and the bottom, and nothing else, no common factors there. 12 times 13 on the top will make it 156, so it will be ln 5 minus 156 over 25. When I subtract it onto the other side, that's c. So therefore, my final answer, I might rearrange this a little bit, is going to be 169 over 25 x plus ln 5 minus 156 over 25. What I might do then is I might times through by 25. So it's 25y equals 169x plus 25 ln 5 minus 156. And there we are, that's the answer to this question then. So it's a standard tangent question. You need to work out the y value first, differentiate to find the gradient, and then plug it into the formula for a straight line, work out what c is. Lovely, there we are. So that's all we're going to go through in this video. Make sure you pause and give yourself lots of practice on page 133, exercise 6D. Make sure you have a go at all the practice questions, or the past paper questions and the exam style questions, problem solving ones. And hopefully you found this video helpful. Thanks very much for watching.